everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Astroneer. There's a lot of stuff with Rails that I want to show off, and I am not in the YouTube series save yet far enough to really showcase what Rails can do. Maybe you've already been on the, you've already looked and seen what other people have done, but I just wanted to show off what I've done. So, occasionally I refer to other saves. I have 8 saves total, 1 through 6. The first YouTube that was mostly Captain Clueless, Kadef and I, and then the second YouTube series, which I started with the snails, and then this save, this is number 6. It is probably the second smallest of all of my saves, and I started it just with the snails update. So I've done quite a bit here with Rails, so you can actually see a little bit going on there. I've had a lot of fun with this save. This is where I spend hours. I probably have close to 40 hours into this particular save. I play this game more than I probably should. I mean, to the point where I have fun, and I know nobody would probably want to watch me do this, but I do things like I have my little garden over here where I have stuff. I haven't finished it yet. It's a little difficult because the thistle whips make it difficult to plant stuff there. But, I've got my little retaining pond with an aqueduct that comes down from the mountain lake. If I can get up there, I got to go all the way around the long way. And I know I said I was going to show off Rails, but I just want to show off, oh, for crying out loud. I wonder, they seem to have changed the hoverboard a little bit. It really kind of just slides all over anymore. But anyhow, my little aqueduct that comes down from the mountain lake, yeah, I know. It's a concept. It's not supposed to be real. It's just a concept. And the water comes down from the mountain. Think of it as being miles and miles away, and then comes down into the little retaining pond here, which then, of course, takes care of all my plants. But anyhow, really quick, I did have, if I can get here, down below long ago, I did have storage down here and all my power. And this is one of the things that Rails has allowed me to do. Where's all the power? Well, there is no power anymore in this base. I have batteries, and that's about it. And Rails allows for something really awesome that I really like. So, let's go ahead. Remember, in my last episode, I mentioned about placing that initial rail station, and I thought about it really hard, and I thought this would be a good spot for it. It's very close to the base, and I had this natural kind of corridor anyhow here, so it worked out really well. You can see I got a 6-car train going here with coal on the front. Let's go ahead, we're going to hop in, and we're going to go to the first station. So right off the bat, I got a couple of junctions. This one's going to head off that way, of course, and then this one's going to head off and go more or less this way. Think of, there's a spoke or a hub around the main base. So anyhow, here's all the power, and I even added a little bit. Well, actually, I had all of this at the base, now that I think about it, and now it's just all over here. And this is powering every base on the planet, even though there's only one base on the planet at the moment. But anywhere this rail goes, that power is going. And you might also notice back here, it occurred to me, hey, you can use these to stick wind turbines on and get some power out of it, or RTGs or solar panels. Or you can use, because they are actually useful, you can trigger when the train passes, and this is what I was talking about. I want to figure out a way to determine if a block is occupied. So like I want to know this segment or this block is occupied. That way another train coming in, there I could have a junction here and the other train could sit off on the siding. But anyhow, so that's power station. It's a little smaller now, but as it grows, And then, of course, as I find small solar panels and small wind turbines, I attach them. I just decided what the heck, I put all my little QT RTGs on here. So that'll help as well. I left this area clear of RTGs because I figured this would be a good spot for wind turbines. And then, of course, some more QT RTGs. We'll go that direction in a moment, but I want to show what this originally went to when I built it. So originally, it came all the way over to here because I like to build, when I find these wrecked landing pads, I like to build a base around them. I just do. I think it's kind of neat. So, and they're sort of useful. You can stick a landing pad up there, or you can land your VTOL up there. I like that. In one of my bases, I had the shredder right here, the giant shredder, so you could just leap off of the platform and right into the shredder and end it all if you wanted to. But anyhow, I haven't got a shredder out here to clean up all the debris, so I had to move the wrecked shelter all the way over there, and there's all the debris that was around. But that's where this particular line goes to, and then eventually it'll head off. You might also have noticed I took a lot of care to make my rails as graceful as possible. You'll notice they're not, I have very low grades, and they don't zing all over the place, except for at junctions is where they will take that 90-degree turn really fast. But in general, I tried to make it where I've got nice sweeping curves, and I followed the terrain where I could, and then of course I also would go over the roads that I had already built. It's just a theme thing. So just recently I built this segment, and this goes off to another base. Now this was a little bit of a mistake here. I didn't mean to go up the side of the hill and then back down, but I did not survey my route properly. But you can see it's a little bumpy up and down. But in general, it's pretty good. Nice. This has to be raised a little bit right there, but and then I have a junction there to go off. But here's another one. Another one of these wrecked landing pads. So I figured, okay, I'm going to build a base here, and this is the one that I was actually starting to work on. You can see I've painted the ground already, leveled it out. I've got some scrap here so that I can do some trading when I get a trade platform. Actually, I could rearrange this. It doesn't need to be half buried anymore. So anyhow, but you can see if you spend time building your pylons, you can see, look how it's not a bumpy ride, and it's a nice sweeping curve. And I also did my best to, as I said, sort of follow the terrain. The reason I go away from the road here and don't follow the terrain is because of how I connect into. We're coming back to that main base now, so it's basically a big old loop. I have a junction here to go off that way eventually. And we're back at our base. So, yeah, okay, I just showed off like the rail line I built, but there are things that you can do with these stations that are really kind of neat. If you like using auto extractors, but you hate having to go check on them all the time and, empty them or whatever, I'll show you this. All I had to do was set up one thing, 2 stations in a route, and I have 464 ammonium now. Just sitting around waiting. And one trip that I had to go back and forth to get all that. The train did the rest, and I'll show you where I did that. It is not here on Silva, it is over on Calidor. Because that's where I tend to find really good deposits of ammonium. So I got plenty of launches. Let's go ahead, and we're going to head off. Oh, I should have... Oh, I meant to do into orbit. You can see the rail. I like how you can see it from orbit. You can see the rail lines. Oh, there's my base. There it is. Can I get to it before it goes? Yes, excellent. Okay. So, Calidor. On this one, I don't know why I put the initial station right here, way up on this hill. I just did. But it'll work out. I think it will. And then over here, this is my freight station. And this is where I was getting the ammonium. The ammonium was off this direction. In fact, where that beacon is where the ammonium was. But I'll show you what it's doing now, because right now it's gathering malachite. I need a lot of malachite. So, again, my freight lines I'm not as concerned about being smooth, but I still wanted a good level route. So I think I did fairly good. It's very difficult to make it perfect. By the way, I use the alignment mod where I drop down one of these pylons to get them to be nice and straight. But once in a while you may want them to be a little bit angled because of how the track, this kind of looks a little wonky because, you know, this segment wants to be perpendicular to the pylon. And then you'll see here, like these ones, you'll see, yeah, it's perpendicular to the pylon, but the pylon is slanted. Comes all the way down here, and then I'm going to have junctions that head off at each of these levels. I only have to go down 2 levels, though. So I went up and over the road here. And another thing I'll show is how you can ensure a switch is the correct direction when you send a car, just blindly send a car back, which is how this works. So here's the collection station, and it's only just over half of the way there. And I don't want to wait for it to completely fill, because it will take, as you can see, it will take a while. But what we can do, that's why these are sitting here, is kind of force the issue. So now I only have to have 2 more malachite show up. So how does this all work? I'll explain it hopefully before the next 2 malachite show up. So the first thing that I have is a storage sensor, and I have it set to fill. I don't know, you know, full or empty. I don't want it to be full or empty. I just want it to fill. So when it fills, it will trigger. And you can see I've got it pinned to the station itself. What that does is it calls the nearest car. So when the storage fills, that means the large storage and all the slots on it are full. It'll trigger and call the car. Now it is only a single rail car with a large storage and 4 medium storage on it, so it takes a while to get here. It takes about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes to get here. But that's okay, because there's no hurry. There is no hurry. So how do I send it back? Well, that's what these pins are for and such. Now, I have only been able to get it to work on station right. That's over here, or to the left on the screen, or the station's right. It does not seem to work on the station's left. I don't know why. But what happens is when the train arrives and it passes, it triggers this. And then over here, you have it. You can see I have it pinned. There's a similar one over here. That says send the car off, and I think it says send it off that way. Now, when I had the station turned around on another station, not the ammonium, but I think it was titanite or something, it would not go this way. No matter what I tried, it would not go that way. So I just had to rotate this entire station 180 degrees, relocate it, because of course where the auto arm and everything was at, and sure enough it would easily go that way. I just could not get it to go that way, even though I would attach this to that side. So how does that work? There's a delay repeater here, and it is set to 25, the maximum. So when the car shows up, oh, here we go, okay. Oh, it already called. While I was talking, it already called. I see it up here now. You can see it already called the car. So I didn't even notice that. So it is on its way. So when the car crosses here, it will set this off, and after 25 cycles, it will send it off. But between the time that it arrives and it sends it off, the station is set to load all vehicles, stop all cars, and load stopped cars. So here's what will happen when it shows up. Here it is. Here it is. Hello. Hi. Okay. Don't worry about the recalled failed, and off it goes. So, ta-da! It works really beautifully. Now, I was mentioning switches. If I can beat this thing, let's say I was down here and I had another car going around, and I inadvertently left this switch in the wrong direction for whatever reason. Well, this can take care of it. That's what these pins are for. You'll see when it crosses here, there's one right there. Boom, it triggered, and then you can force the junction to go the direction you want. So if you set it here, it means basically make it go straight. If you set it here, there's one here, that means send it to the right of the screen. And if you set it here, it means it will set it from this direction over here. So basically, the pin says which direction to complete the track in. So you can see there's my little rail car. Oop, up, my little rail car on its way. So we're going to come up here, and then this station is just set to stop all cars and unload all cars. So you can see it is unload stop cars and stops all cars. And when it arrives, here it comes. Hey, here comes the malachite train. Hello. It stops. It does not continue on, and it unloads. Now I've got the large canister because space, it just fills up easier. And while I have an auto arm send it into it when it could just do this. If I had to have a quick turnaround here, maybe I would have had a large storage with the medium storage all over it so the car could quickly unload and move off. That's my next thing I want to try to have is a storage yard of cars that can be called from anywhere. And the station can remain clear. And it is something that I can try, but I'm not going to do it right away. So that is something that I've done with the new Rails update, and it's a lot of fun. And it's really it works out really well because now when I want to check where am I at with the malachite, I just have to wander over here and say, oh, I'm at 64. Okay. And if it stays at 64 for a very long time, then I know either I depleted the deposit or something is broken. And I have had that happen where if you see in this auto extractors seem to just stop working. They think there's no resources there anymore. Anyhow, one last thing, I mentioned the alignment mod just to show why I use the alignment mod. It doesn't give you a true flat, but it does give you a flat surface to the center of the planet on that space. So if I put that over there and activate it, let's say like I put down this rail, and I mean really, I'm sorry, my OCD is like, that is just not right. Okay, that's all right, because all you have to do is just go ahead and pick it up, and then you can cycle V once, make certain it is doing a horizontal, and then you just smooth it out a little bit, and now, bam, you've got a nice, it is pretty darn straight. If you go a little bit off to the side, yeah, it'll go off, but you can take care of that by just making this larger and larger if you really want to. But that is, now I use the alignment mod a lot just for that, and it never occurred to me before to do that when I was trying to get a flat surface at a base, not true flat, because there's true flat, which is one of the 6 surfaces on each planet. I just want a flat surface that, my Astroneer is, he's standing up mostly straight, sort of similar to this here. So, anyhow, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this special video of Astroneer showing off my simple little collection station for malachite. And I will see all of you in the next episode of Astroneer. Take care and bye.